All right, it's been a little minute here. Let's see if I remember how to go through my flow. Good morning, good evening, and good night. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic because today we're going to be talking about a few different things, okay? We're going to be talking about something called the death of Yieldmax ETFs, in my opinion. The reason being is because we're going to talk about this little correction that we're having currently within the S&P 500 and how in a majority of Yieldmax ETFs, we have seen more than a sizable hit. And if you guys are holding Yieldmax ETFs in your portfolios, you're also feeling this hit as well. I'm going to tell you guys how much I'm actually down. We're going to face some reality. We're going to face why I've been away and why I've decided to come back and make a video, because I haven't made a video in almost 14 days. It's 2 weeks. So we're going to talk about everything like that. I want to talk to you guys about some real Yieldmax ETFs that have been punished in my portfolio, and then also talk to you about some reasons why I believe this is potentially happening. So if that does sound good, if you do want to stick around for some occasional updates, we're up to 8,528 subscribers. You guys subscribe if you want, okay? Because I am at a crossroads. I'm currently developing a new business and it has consumed me. This is why I haven't made a video in 14 days, but I feel obligated because over the history of my channel, 8,500 people have subscribed to my channel because they want to hear about my take on certain topics, certain shiny objects like Yieldmax ETFs, okay? And for the majority of the past year, I've been investing within Yieldmax ETFs. I've bought them when they're high, I've bought them when they're low, and I've bought them on margin at low and great prices. And yet, all throughout those times, I'm still down actually on a lot of those plays. And what is coming into fruition now is tax season as well, where all of this Yieldmax ETF income is ordinary income added to your job income, for example, and you're having to pay tax on that. So we are seeing the full spectrum of the hits and the pitfalls of Yieldmax ETFs, and let's just talk about that right now. So when we go through my portfolio, I was actually at a portfolio high about a month and a half ago at about $90,000. So from that marker, I'm down about $20,000. That's a pretty big hit. And you know what? To most people, that's a pretty nerve-wracking hit. A lot of people could probably not stomach a hit like that. And funny enough, when you enter into a market crash or a market correction, it's expected to see hits like this and much, much worse. So if you can't stomach these hits, you shouldn't be investing. And that's just my personal opinion, on your own at least. But if you can understand why these things happen, whether it's through your own fault or whether it's through the market itself, I think that's a huge step in kind of balancing and looking at this with logic. Now, one thing is the market and one thing is myself. I've invested heavily into Yieldmax ETFs. For example, YMAX is a huge position of mine here, down 39%, $8.7 thousand US dollars here. YMAX over the past month has trailed down, what do we see here? Almost 20%. That is a huge loss. YMAX is pretty well diversified. It holds a basket of different underlying Yieldmax ETFs, which track individual stocks, but a lot of those have trended down, and a lot of those are in my portfolio as well. If we look here, MSTY, huge down, almost 70% down. MSTY was one of the best performing Yieldmax ETFs, but now has transitioned to the worst as MSTR, the underlying stock, has taken a nosedive, going down roughly 67% within the last 6 months alone. A lot of this attributed to the recent crash in Bitcoin. If Bitcoin falls lower, MSTR is going to fall lower. So is MSTY. That's just the natural order of things. Another one, Coney. Coney has fallen too. 42% down lifetime. MSFO. This was one that I was pretty break even on. Now down almost 8.5 or just over 8.5%. Pardon me. We also have Udemy. This is not a Yieldmax ETF, but this is another stock in my portfolio which is tanked pretty hard. I have a bunch of them, so it's not just Yieldmax ETFs alone, but 3 notorious Yieldmax ETF, XYZY down basically 50%, Babel down 20%, PYPY down 42%. So as you can see here, we've taken some major hits on our Yieldmax ETFs, and now we're having to pay taxes on all the income that was generated. So all in all, Yieldmax has been a pretty poor investment in my opinion. And I understand, look, we're at some sort of a market downturn or a market hit, and a lot of individual stocks, they trend down a lot harder than the index, for example, which is to be expected. And what am I doing in this circumstance? Well, I'm down on all these positions. Am I selling? No, I'm not selling. Am I buying? No, I'm not buying. One thing as well is my HIT position now down 40%. HIT has taken a turn, a hit to the downside. I have actually bought more on that stock because I do like it for the long term. But the reason why I'm not buying any more Yieldmax is because I've taken chances before where I've bought YMAX. I bought MSTY. I bought PYPY, I bought Babo, and I bought them on margin, and I bought them at very low prices. And for example, at discounts such as we're seeing today, if I was to buy once again, likely I would assume in the future they would be down further than where they are today, just by their nature of how much they pay out and their overall strategy. So what am I doing? I'm not buying any more Yieldmax. I'm buying better underlying companies. Of course, Helmerich & Payne has done pretty well for me, 65%. Of course, such a minor fraction of my portfolio that it doesn't necessarily make that much of a difference, just a small percent. But basically, I'm still taking this Yieldmax ETF income and I'm diversifying away from Yieldmax. This was the initial strategy, but it kind of came into fruition when we reached our target of $2,500 a month in terms of income, and then we were purchasing other companies like WYY, HIT, NURS, .to, etc. But basically, my strategy going forward for Yieldmax is the death of Yieldmax in my portfolio. I'm looking to probably exit a lot of these positions just due to their poor performance. But I'm not going to do it when they're down. Like, there's no reason to sell MSTY now because MSTR is absolutely at a low. When Bitcoin goes up, when Bitcoin retracts and eventually rebounds, as I think it will, then I will look to sell MSTY, for example. Same thing with YMAX. When overall Yieldmax ETFs rebound, their underlying stocks rebound, then I will look to sell. There's no reason to sell in a downturn, in a panic. You put money in your portfolio, not as money that you're going to need, but as money that you can keep in there for the long term. So I'm simply holding these for the long term or long-ish term till I see some sort of recovery. I will not be selling anytime soon. So that's kind of an update on what I'm doing with my Yieldmax ETFs, and I'm certainly not buying more. The performance over the long term has been pretty horrendous, and I feel obligated to make this video, obviously, because for so long I have talked about Yieldmax ETFs, and now I'm diversifying away. And really, the reason as well I haven't made a video is this new business that I'm starting. I've absolutely taken a nosedive in, and I put a lot of my time, energy, resources, taken time away from my friends, my families, and my relationships in order to build this new business. And I'm pretty passionate, pretty excited about it. YouTube has been awesome. I've accumulated a channel of 8,500 subscribers. It's fantastic, but I just think there's so many better creators than myself out there. And YouTube was a fantastic journey, and I'm super grateful. Maybe I'll make another channel in the future, and I'm going to continue to post on this one, but I don't think it's going to blow up and become something amazing. I mean, it always can be, but I just see this new opportunity in a new business. I'm young. I like to try things. I'm going to keep this one rolling on the side because I do still like to talk about my portfolio. So I'll keep you guys posted. So that's why you should subscribe, but YouTube will be more of a side project for me. It's not going to be the main thing because the main thing is going to be pretty cool and it's rolling out pretty quick. So, but yeah, once again, this is just a little portfolio update on what I'm doing with my Yieldmax ETFs, what I think overall, and my strategy going forward to kind of exit out of those and buy better individual companies with hopefully some great dividends as well, because we love to receive our dividends, but capital gains are also cool too, as we now see. So thank you very much for watching, tuning in. I hope you guys did enjoy this video and found this valuable. If you did, subscribe. You want to stick around for some, intermediate updates, and please do take care only till next time.